Now, this stuff occurs anytime you have a rapid rise in the water, like when the water comes up real quick over the course of 2 or 3 days. Water comes up, certain areas like this will gather this sawdust pile, which is an accumulation of like leaves and sticks and just debris that's in the water. And anytime it gathers around cover like this, guys, it's a great area for big fish. Now, one of the reasons that hasn't been working too good this week at Kentucky Lake is the water's really muddy. So you need a little bit cleaner visibility most of the time. We've been catching a few, but guys, if you ever get into a situation like this where the water's high and coming up, this is an area that you want to look for in the springtime of the year, because you can catch some giant bass like this. And it changes every day, because, you know, the sawdust will be in areas every day differently based upon the wind. So you may have sawdust in an area one day, it may be gone the next day, and you may have an area like this where there's no sawdust, and there'll be sawdust there the next day based upon how the wind's blowing. When you're fishing them, guys, the main thing that I like to use is a heavy jig. I've got my throwback jig here today, 5/8 ounce, black and chartreuse with a blue trailer. You can also use a creature bait sometimes too, but it seems like to me the bigger fish like a jig and that type of stuff. But the thing about it is, like, when you run this type of pattern, you have to commit to it, because a lot of it is time of day. Sometimes you can fish that sawdust, you know, at 9 o'clock in the morning and not get a bite, and then come back at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and catch a 20-pound bag of fish. But I have caught tons of 7 and 8 pounders doing this. And if you ever get a situation in the lake you're fishing, don't pass them up, because they're really good areas to catch them in. Okay, guys, that was my plan right there. The sawdust pile you just saw in that video, that was my game plan, because I know all the bass fishing experience I have, anytime the lake is coming up super fast like that, I mean, anytime it's a hard rise, if you got sawdust piles and it's April and the water temperature is 60 degrees, you better be flipping sawdust piles, because I have caught some giants doing that. And the thing about that is the sawdust pile pattern, it's very finicky, because you can have some sawdust piles one day and they're gone the next based upon the direction the wind is going to blow. So, but anyway, I made a commitment to do that. So I started out, ran down there to that area where I felt there'd be a lot of that type of water at. And I knew right off the bat, it was cold. It was, you know, it was still dark. You know, it was, you know, a lot of shade out. And that sawdust pattern is not good until the sun gets up, you know, a little bit higher. So I didn't expect to catch much for the first 2 or 3 hours at all, and I didn't. My partner caught one keeper like the first 3 hours, and then about 11:30, I caught my first keeper, which was the one you just saw in the thumbnail. There was a nice one. It was a 3-pounder or so, and that gave me some confidence. And about 20 minutes later, I lost a freaking giant. I mean, I got it out.